Hi, welcome to The Inner Way. Today's program is entitled Enough Holiness for Now. Bye.
Open to me the doors of repentance.
Hi, welcome to The Inner Way, a program exploring the spirituality of the Orthodox Church. I'm your host, Father David Smith. This is our 20th program, the 13th in a series on the spiritual discipline of Isikia, which could be translated as stillness or inner peace. I've been using the writings of Saint Ezechias from the Philokalia, and today I want to quote from the 72nd paragraph of his book entitled Watchfulness and Holiness. I had the opportunity recently to attend the feast day vigil at a monastery. The service lasted almost 6 hours. During that time, I prayed the Jesus prayer more than any other time in my whole life. But I found something unusual. At a certain point, I could not pray the prayer anymore. I had concentrated on the prayer up until the moment that happened, but when it happened, the end was unmistakable and definite. My brain said no. I waited for a few minutes, listening to the beautiful chanting, but when I tried to start again, I couldn't. I couldn't even say the words. I put my prayer rope away in my pocket for the rest of the vigil. What happened? Well, I think I encountered the same thing that I encounter at some point of every fasting period, the point where my humanity rebels, where my connection to this world cries enough and refuses to continue. Over the years, I've learned to overcome this in relation to fasting, but not with uninterrupted, pure, and spiritual prayer. Well, so I discovered. It took that vigil for me to uncover this weakness. I almost feel like I should impose upon myself a new spiritual exercise, and I'll name it Pray the Jesus Prayer Until Your Brain Has a Meltdown. Don't do that. I'm not going to do it, and I don't want you to do either. I'm just making something light here. We would never do something like this on our own, but I know that my experience at the vigil showed me how far I am from Isikia. Saint Ezekiel writes, "Many passions are hidden in the soul. They can be checked only when their causes are revealed." I think this is what happened at the monastery, and after thinking about it, I realized it's happened before. Hidden deep in my soul is a switch that decides when things have gotten spiritual enough and shuts off the power. I rarely make it all the way to that switch because things come along that derail my Ezekiel long before I get there. But, as happened at the monastery, there are times when I'm forced to keep going until I arrive at it. Many years ago, two friends of mine and I went to a retreat. I was not a priest yet. In fact, this was before I even went to seminary. We enjoyed the worship. There was a great speaker. There was wonderful fellowship. And as we were driving home, someone said, "We've had enough holiness for a while. Let's get some beer and go to a park." We did. It was such a relaxing time. It was late fall. We had the park all to ourselves, and we spent hours laughing and talking. That's what we could name the switch, as a matter of fact, that switch deep down inside my soul. Enough holiness for now. It is the passion that prevents us from traveling the inner way, the one that whispers, "Enough. You deserve a break. You went to church last week. This week, relax. Too much holiness is not good. Say a little prayer, make the sign of the cross, and rest." I think that to some extent this relates to the subject of last week's program. That is, sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of our spiritual disciplines and experiences. Prayer and worship, we tell ourselves, must be special and set apart, and certainly not the foundation of everything we do. It comes from a little sense that prayer and worship are work, are odious in some way, like brushing your teeth or doing your laundry. It's not what you want to do, but occasionally there's no way to ignore the need to do it. I asked a man one time why he didn't come to church. "Saturday and Sunday are my only days off, Father, and I need to relax on those days." He actually said that to me. "I need to relax on Sundays." I can't make this kind of stuff up, right? He needed to relax, and obviously his relaxation excluded church. I can well imagine it also excluded prayer and, well, anything else spiritual. To him, those were odious. To him, those were work. The cause? Remember, Ezekiel said, "Many passions are hidden in the soul. They can be checked only when their causes are revealed." So what is the cause of the enough holiness for now switch? Well, I think it's pride. Remember, pride overcomes us just before we tell ourselves that we don't need to be watchful or holy or a lover of God. We don't need that. We say, "I don't need this. It's not necessary. I'll be fine without it." I'll confess to you, I do this occasionally. If I have a busy day ahead of me, for instance, I might find myself skipping my morning prayer time. Why? Because it's not really necessary. Sure, everyone watching this right now is disagreeing. Of course prayer is necessary. I disagree as well. But sometimes my pride says no. My pride says I need to get started on my busy day. And besides, what's going to happen if I don't pray? Will I become leprous today or develop a chronic cough? No. My pride says no. And so I flip the switch, enough holiness for now, which I might rename too busy for holiness or something like that, and pride wins again. During the COVID pandemic, I called the governor's office and asked when the churches would be allowed to open. The woman who answered the phone said to me, "Churches are non-essential and will be grouped with all the other forms of entertainment." She said that to me. I had to ask myself, do I ever think of church in that way? Do you? Knowing the causes of our passions gives us the tools to overcome those passions. Knowledge is power, and uncovering, for one, the passion of pride gives us insight into how our passions undercut our spiritual lives and our inner journeys. Next week's program is entitled Countless Intellections. I wonder what that means. Join me next week and find out. And until then, God bless you and see you in church.